Cuba's role in Africa, not just in South Africa, was very important. From the Congo through to Angola, to Mosabique, to Southern Africa, Cuba played an important role at a time when the collapse of the Soviet Union and leaving perhaps the United States and its surrogate powers virtually in control would have meant going back to the dark ages in Africa. But not only did Cuba provide soldiers in Angola, they provided medical doctors, they provided nurses, they provided agronomists, they provided water experts, lots of civilians. We sent lots of people from South Africa to Cuba to train because we knew we would need doctors and health workers and so on. They trained them for us. So when it came to Nelson Mandela, you know, the key at the end that forced South Africa to negotiate with the people of South Africa, led by the African National Congress, was the defeat of the South African Army of Invasion in Angola at a little place called Quito Carnivale, which is just a crossroads. And it wasn't as though it was a battle that took place over 1 or 2 days. It took 3 months. Suddenly it became a build-up of forces of the apartheid armies confronted by the Angolans, supported by the Cubans, with Soviet material, and in the end, radar and aircraft. And you know, panzer vehicles without air supremacy, Lufthoheit, are pretty useless. And in the end, the South African army, with its UNITA allies, was defeated in battle, forcing South Africa to accept the idea that it could not be the regional power. There was a window of opportunity. The Soviet Union was collapsing. The Americans were exhausted by their wars in Vietnam and wherever, all over the world, needed a breathing space, and compelled South Africa to negotiate. So the defeat through the sacrifice of the Cuban people in that battle of Quito Carnivale, after a long period of support right through Central and Southern Africa, was absolutely key. When we said, we will negotiate when you're ready to negotiate, the apartheid state could not continue. And for white South Africans, you have to understand the psychology as well. With their belief in their supremacy, the idea that black and Cubans out of an African background could actually fight and win a war was such a psychological blow that in the end they had to give in. There was not a graveyard for whites that didn't have a young white soldier buried and a hero for defending apartheid. What a shock to the very defenders of apartheid and their families. I don't rejoice in the deaths, believe me. Why does peace and justice require killing? Why do they go on when it's cheaper to work together? To make us all better off. The role of Cuba was a key.